Do you feel unfocused in your business? Do you have clear annual goals that are written that you revisit regularly? As entrepreneurs, it's so easy for us to get caught up in the day-to-day and not have a clear formal planning process for our goals. We have to do it all. I used to work in big corporations, and they all had one thing in common that helped them succeed. They all had a clear goal planning process they followed every year, every quarter, every week. So I think it's really important that we learn from these big corporations and take what's good and implement that into our entrepreneurship journey. It's one of the very first things I make sure we have when I start working with a coaching client. I make sure that we have a system for planning goals for the business. Once we have a clear picture of our goals and priorities, it's easier to organize around them. You have to be super clear on your priorities. This is why we do goal setting and business planning. Or else you'll feel scattered, unfocused, stressed out, and pulled in a million different directions. You won't make any real progress towards your goals. I've been there for sure. It's really tempting to want to dive in to work with a new client or a new project or a new course. But if we're not clear on what we're focused on and what is important for us and for our business, it's really easy to feel distracted, and you're always gonna feel that pull. So let's get into it. So we want to start the planning process with the yearly goals. Planning and goal setting are like the two sides of the same coin. So let's take a step back and look at the big picture and think about what big goals we want to accomplish in our business this year. The magic number is somewhere between 3 and 7 goals for the year. I got that number from the book Traction by Gino Wickman. It doesn't mean you don't have other goals, but it does mean you have to put a stake on the ground and commit to these 3 to 7 goals. I know it sounds a little crazy, but if you try to do it all, your overall productivity will decline. I worked with a few coaching clients that had somewhere between 10 and 20 goals that they wanted to juggle all at once. But the problem is that they were spread too thin and not getting anything done to the level they knew they could. It gives you too many open loops at the same time, and it's really overwhelming. In order to get your business organized and systematized, you have to be very clear on what are the main goals you want to be focusing on, and that will help you move forward your business and help you grow. Now I'm going to give you a few examples of what these annual goals could look like for you. Update your website, create a new digital course, hire one new full-time employee, start creating content for a new social platform like perhaps YouTube, and increase revenues by 25%. Make your goals highly specific. Notice a few of them had numbers so that you can really measure and see at the end if you've hit them or not. When something comes up to distract me, I look at my goals that I set to myself, and I do this reality check and I ask myself honestly, can I take this on without putting at risk my goals? If the answer is no, I say no to this new opportunity or to this person. It's way easier when you know what you're sacrificing, because saying yes to something it means saying no to your goals. It reminds us that our resources are limited. Let me give you an example from my business. One of my goals this year is to create content on YouTube to be able to share ideas and hopefully help even more people. So last week I had this invite for a business event, and I had this dilemma, but I made a decision because one of my goals was to create content and I couldn't do both. Sure, the event would be very fun, a lot of fun. I would meet new people, and it's an opportunity. And there's this FOMO effect where your fear of missing out. Oh, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. But I reminded myself of my goals and that I needed to be focused. And the trick is to reassure yourself of this abundance, that there's going to be other opportunities down the road. And I didn't want to sacrifice my goals of creating content that brings me a lot of joy. So when you're very clear on what your goals are, it becomes easier saying no to other things. Now, one important thing about annual goals, when you focus on them, it doesn't mean that you don't have daily things that happen in your business. These goals are on top of your business as usual, like perhaps coaching clients, producing content, answering customer support questions. You have to just think about them as you make time for them. So this is not easy, obviously, when you have these big long-term projects and your day-to-day. Focus takes courage, the courage to say no to many things. But the trick is to tell yourself no for now. Later, I can always come back later and revisit them. For now, I'm focused on these 3 to 7 goals. I will focus on them for the next 3 months so that I can grow my business strategically. So concretely, how and when do we do this annual goal setting planning process? So in my case, I do it at the end of the year in December, probably during the week between Christmas and New Year. And I do it by myself because I'm a solopreneur. But if you do have a team or an employee, you can do this in an annual meeting. It's during this meeting that we come up with our business goals. And we're not always in December, obviously. So whether we're in February or April, it's very important that we take a day, half a day, even 30 minutes to just sit down and reflect. So it starts with the brainstorming. It really needs to be put on paper or on a spreadsheet. And everything, all the goals, ideas, priorities, details that we have circling in our heads, and we put them down onto paper. And we think about what is important, what could be important, what should you be doing that you're not doing, what could you be doing that you're not, what could you be doing more of or less of. So write this, and this is the first step. There's no real filter to it because we will narrow it down into the second step. This is when we go from this long list to the 3 to 7 goals. And you really have to think hard. Which of these are the best use of your time right now? Because we can't do it all. Our time is limited and we have limited resources. So really have to prioritize which one makes sense. If you have a team, this can be very fun when you can give arguments to each other and challenge each other and say, this, I believe it's a priority and maybe not this. This can wait. It's not easy. You have to look for patterns and themes for those projects that's gonna help you make big impact or make revenue quickly or set up the foundation so that you're in a position to make money in the near future. There is no right or wrong here. You know your business best. Now that we have set our annual goals, how do we make them a reality? The secret is the quarterly goals or the 12-week goals I talk about in this video here. You might want to watch. Thank you so much and see you in the next video.